Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and this is Easily Knitfluenced. We're outside today. New York is finally in springtime, so I decided to film outside and just get some air so you can see there's stuff blooming all around me. I think this is an apple tree, I want to say. And there's all sorts of kids' toys and stuff in the back. But it's a beautiful day, so I figured I would just get some air and film outside for you today. So this is my April podcast. Yeah, again, April flew by. I feel like the months are accelerating in how quickly they pass. But we're gonna do a regular way podcast. For those of you who have not tuned in to me before, my name is Michelle. As I said, I live just outside of New York, and this is a channel where I talk about all things knitting, yarn related. I do monthly podcasts, but I also do yarn reviews. I'll kind of throw in, one-off little videos about other things I think in the future. So really this is kind of where I, express all creative ideas to do with knitting. So without further ado, let's get started because I have a bunch of different things that I want to cover today. I have 2 finished objects for you guys this month, and I finished both of these very cozy, warm projects just in time for the weather in New York to warm up. So you'll see I'm just wearing like a cotton dress today, not wearing any knitwear because it's starting to get a little warmer. But let's start with finished object number 1. I'm not going to put these on, by the way. I'll put up pictures of me wearing them so you can kind of see the fit and everything. But this is my Peggy sweater. She's done and she's beautiful. Check her out. So this is the Peggy sweater by Lee Knits or Lena Home Samso, and it's just beautiful. I mean, if you see the pictures of me wearing it, I've worn this a couple times already. So I wore this into the city a few weeks back when it was still a little chillier. I still wear this sometimes in the very early mornings when I drop my kids off at their daycare because it can still be a little cold in the morning. So phenomenal. I love this pattern. So some basic information here. I knit this in 2 strands held together. This was the Sadness Garn Sunday held with their silk mohair in the color 8236, which gives you this beautiful, it fits in with the background almost, like kind of emerald green color. Sorry, I forgot that we're on a flight path here during the day, so if I kind of chop in and out here, it's because I'm editing to try and get that noise out, because I'm gonna pause every so often just to hopefully make this audio not too annoying for you guys. But construction-wise, this is kind of a classic drop shoulder. You knit a panel in the back here, you knit kind of the shoulder panels coming down this way, and then knit a little bit of the front, join in the round, knit the rest of the body, and then pick up for the sleeves. And it's this wonderful, like, all over texture. This never gets boring. I really can honestly say I loved every minute of making this. Like, I never felt that I was getting tired of the texture or anything like that. It's great. It's really a great pattern, and really cleverly done as well. And I think I said this in my last podcast episode, but it's a pattern that, doesn't go on and on, but every word that's there is incredibly clear. Like, I consider myself a beginner, advanced beginner, call it what you want, but, at no point was I, like, confused or unsure what to do. And she was really clever, actually, about the charts, in particular for the sleeves. So, it's an all-over texture on the sleeve as well, and you have to kind of factor in the decreases. And the way she laid out that chart was really ingenious, I thought. So just a very clever way of kind of compressing what could have been, multiple charts, like tons of information into one, and she did it in a way that was like not confusing. It was very clear and easy to follow. So big props to Lee Knits for putting this pattern together. And this is, it's a pretty oversized garment, as you can see in my pictures. I knit this on a US 5, which I think is a 1 size down from the recommended, which I typically end up doing. I usually don't end up going with the recommended needle, just because I think I'm kind of a looser knitter than most, maybe. So But other than that, I followed this pattern exactly. The only thing I changed, and I always do this, I always do a half twisted rib for my my cuffs. And this is like the inside is actually the twisted rib if you look there. So the way I get this kind of even look on the outside for my ribbing is I knit normally and then purl through the back loop. And I found that that gives me, at least to my eye, like the tidiest ribbing. If I just do regular way ribbing, like it just does not look as even somehow. And so what I found is that this is the best way for me, at least, to kind of get the desired result. So that's what I do. And yeah, I'm so proud of this. I love this. I love this garment so much. I would make this in another color. I think maybe a neutral or something. I think this could be beautiful in, I think the pictures she has are a white or like a cream color. I would love to do that too. So love this. I mean, 10 out of 10. I think this is just a gorgeous pattern, and I'm eyeing up a bunch of her other ones to start working on in the fall as well. So finished object number 1, love it. All right, and then number 2. So this one just kind of like flew off my needles. Yeah, I don't know, this went really quick. This is the Stockholm sweater by Petite Knit. So again, I'll put in some pictures of me wearing it, but this is a very simple drop shoulder sweater, folded over collar, and it's a lot of stockinette basically, but it's a beautiful basic kind of pattern. So what to say about this? This I knit in Pearl Soho's Nye DK, which is a 100% cashmere yarn, and I use the color Raindrop Blue. So I don't know if you'll be able, I hope you can see this in the sunlight, but it's kind of like a heathered, pinky, bluey, purpley color. It's really beautiful. From a distance, it just looks kind of like periwinkle blue, but up close, the yarn has a gorgeous heathering, and then look at that halo. Isn't that beautiful? It's so soft. So yeah, if I get another pretty cold morning, I'll probably put this on again. But beautiful. Again, the only change I made was what I just referenced, which is the half twisted rib for all the finishings here. And I know this has been a saga of me like reordering and kind of ordering more yarn from this dye lot. I used like almost every scrap of yarn for this project, so I'm glad I ordered the extra skein. And I've kept a little bit, like maybe a couple yards. I always do. I try to do that if I can, just for like repairs, you know. So if anything happens, it's good to just have the yarn left over. So I keep a little stash of stuff for my finished objects, just in case I need to ever fix something. You will have seen in the pictures of me wearing this, like the reason I chose this pattern among her whole collection of, I guess like stockinette projects, was this collar, and I love this. Like it looks round, obviously, like, you know, just on camera, but when you're kind of the diagrams of it and when you're picking up for it, it's almost like got some sort of square edges in places. So it gives a really interesting kind of like pickup. You can see here, there's that seam in the back, and there's kind of like an angle here where you pick up, and same along the sides here of the shoulder. Hopefully you can kind of see that. So it's not as simple as just being like, you know, a round oval or like a circle in the middle of your knitting that you then pick up stitches from. So very interesting kind of collar construction here. And I just love the way this neckline sits on me. And she does a really interesting kind of double knitting thing to fold this over, so it gives kind of like a beautiful crisp edge. Love this. I think such a great basic, easy to put together pattern. I will say one thing that I don't mind, but some people might. It's quite so the sweater's quite a boxy fit, as you can see. It's a little oversized, I would say, but the decreases in the sleeves are quite frequent and numerous. So you can probably see here, like, you're decreasing quite a lot. So this ends up being not tight, but like more fitted towards the end of your arm. To me, I didn't mind this. So like, to contrast with the Peggy's very loose and flowy on the edges. I don't mind this because my intention in making this sweater was something I could wear to work, like over black pants or a black skirt, like kind of tuck it in. And I liked the idea of having a bit more of a tapered sleeve, but if that's not your look, you may want to just fiddle with the decreases a little bit and make it to, you know, probably decrease less towards the end and kind of just have that sleeve be however big you want it. But that's just a word of caution if you don't like, because I know some people don't like tighter cuffs. So if you don't like that, you know, just beware with this. But other than that, I mean, it's petite knit. It's like a pretty perfect pattern, I would say. Like, there's nothing I can say about it that, you know, could be criticism. It very easy to follow, as always. And yeah, I mean, I think this was a DK yarn. I knit this in the suggested needle size, which I think was a US 6. So, I mean, I pretty much followed the pattern exactly. And it turned out great. I'm so, so happy with this. Can't wait for colder weather to wear it more regularly, but I'm gonna get a couple wears out of this before it gets really hot, I think. Okay, and so now we've got a couple of whips just with less progress, and just to be transparent with you guys, you probably won't see a ton of progress on these for a little while, just because I am going to focus on spring knit soon, which I will get into what my plans are for those. So let me just show you this one. This is the Eva cardigan by Petite Knit. And, you know, I really haven't done a whole lot to this. Really haven't done much to this. It's, you know, I'm still working on the back. Not a whole lot to report here. I'm knitting this in the Illimani Santi tweed in the color Pineapple, and then the gold kind of color mohair from Isayer. And this is on a US... What am I doing this on? A US 6 as well. So yeah, you know, not a whole lot to report. I think I'm going to kind of continue working on these more sort of fall winter projects, but probably just, you know, spend less hours in a, ooh, there's a little petal in my hair. Spend less hours in any given week working on them, just because I want to focus on like my summer knits and hopefully get some wear out of those, and a few of those are fingerings, as you're gonna see. So yeah, gotta keep moving on those if I'm gonna get any wear out of them this summer. So some of these more wintry ones will take a bit of a back seat, but you'll see some, you know, minor progress as the months go on this summer. Okay, then let me just show you one where I have a little bit of progress. So this is the start of my Cardi cocoon, which is incredibly curled up, but hopefully you can see here. The shadows are kind of doing weird things here. There we go. So I'm knitting it in what is becoming kind of a grayish color, and it's coming up more gray on the screen. To me, it looks a little more pinky, but in any case, this is how far I've gotten. And I'm knitting this out of Lezu DK in the color Biscotti. This is by Julie Asseline, and I am holding that with this mohair, which is Ito Sensai in the color Goat. Now, just something to note, as I've been working with this mohair, this is very, I don't know what the right word is, like slippery. So as I'm holding these yarns together, and you can kind of see it's happening here. So I'll just show you, like, do you see here, like the mohair will kind of like slip away from the Lezu DK, and I think that it's because this is a superwash, but also this is, it's a lot less, like the fuzz factor is a lot less intense than some other mohairs I've used, and I think it's because it has a higher silk content than mohair. So it's a beautiful color, it's incredibly soft, but just something to be aware of if you're planning on using this, that you really need to like hold those yarns together, or it's happened to me a few times where like there'll be a little like squiggly kind of extra bit of mohair that's sticking out because it wasn't like held taut with the other strand. So something I've observed, but you know, not a big deal at all. So yeah, I mean, obviously I haven't gotten very far in this. I am painfully slow in these, the little waffle stitch like cables. I tried to do this in my swatch without a cable needle, and the tension was like all sorts of messed up. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'll just use the cable needle, even though it's like a 1x1 like cable. So it's a 5-row repeat, I think a 4 or 5-row repeat. And that the one row, which has the cables in, I am like painfully slow in. So this is another project you're gonna see just like slowly growing over the summer. You know, my hope is that by like wintertime, when I would want to be wearing like a big thick cardi coat, this will be ready to go. But we'll see. You know, nothing to really report here yet, but I'm loving this pattern. I'm loving the color. I think it'll be like a beautiful addition to my wardrobe, but I am prepared that this is going to take a long time, and that's okay. Actually, no, not last whip, second to last whip. This is the beginning of my moonset pullover. Hang on. And it's literally just the back panel. This is Knitting for Olive merino and the matching mohair in the color Bordeaux. And yeah, it's just a stockinette back panel, so not a whole lot to report here, but it's knitting up beautifully. I think this will be, again, another nice addition to the kind of staples wardrobe when it gets to the fall time. But yeah, this is another one where, you know, I'll kind of knit in between just for a break from the summer stuff, but this is not going to be, you know, what I spend hours and hours on in any given day. Okay, last whip. So I am making the Taipei vest by Mochi Knits, and here's a little swatch I made. So this is the Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino held double in the color Mole. I'm just thinking now, I'm reading it as mole because I love Mexican food, but it could actually be mole, like the animal. Because this, I mean, it is kind of a mole-like color, but it's also a mole-like color. So, okay, we're gonna call it mole. I'm just deciding this unilaterally. But yeah, this is the swatch, and I have started the project. This is very early stages, but I'll let you take a look at this. And I hit gauge on this exactly on the suggested needle, so a US 6, and this is the beginning of the back panel. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I think I love the feel. I've never used the cotton merino before. I love the feel of this. I just wish they had more colors. This is kind of one of the few colors in that selection that I genuinely liked. I feel like they have a lot of pastels and a lot of pinks, and neither of those are colors that I find, you know, look all that nice on me. Even though I always gravitate towards pink, I've made a couple things in pink that I never ended up wearing, didn't like, you know, once they were on me, just sort of washed me out. And so I wish they would do, you know, the same collection of like super bright kind of colors that they have in the pure silk in the cotton merino, because I would totally go for that in the single strand. But this is a beautiful color. I think it's a great neutral. It'll work well. And my plan for the Taipei vest is I really want to wear it to work and have it be kind of a transitional seasonal item. So hence knitting it double. You know, it's a short sleeve, not a short sleeve. It's a sleeveless top. So can definitely wear it in the summer. And this is mostly cotton, so it shouldn't be too hot. But, you know, I think it's substantial enough that with a jacket on, I could wear it in the fall or like early spring now, hopefully next year. So yeah, really excited about this. So far it's a nice little pattern. It's knitting up nicely. So we'll see how this turns out. Okay, and then on to acquisitions. So, the yarn that I just showed you, the mole from Knitting for Olive, the cotton merino, that was obviously an acquisition. So I've already started knitting with that. And then I have two more to show you for other spring knits. So this is the Knitting for Olive merino in the color pomegranate. Beautiful, kind of neutral toned red. I would say it's like leaning slightly warm. But this is going to be the Ridge Sweater short sleeve by Hiromi Nagasawa, which is one of the tops that I featured in my kind of work appropriate pattern roundup that I did a couple months back. And the reason I chose merino for this is I like the color selection there better. And in a single strand, you know, thinking about it, I was like, as long as it's a short sleeve, this should be very wearable, even in the summer. And I'm thinking specifically about my working environment and kind of like my commute and stuff. So if I were still living in the city and taking the subway every day, I would not be knitting out of this, because merino and the subway, I mean, you guys know, or you can guess, not fun. But I work a lot from home. My home is air conditioned most of the time. So it's not like it's sweltering. And the times that I do go into the city, I am taking the MTA, the Metro North, which is also quite heavily air conditioned, actually. So if anything, a lot of the time I'm a little on the cold side. So actually, I think knitting in a single strand of merino will work out quite well for a summer knit. So I will report back, obviously, but this is what I have intended for that top. And then another acquisition I made. So this is the Pearl Soho Santalina in the color, what is this, Stormy Sea. And this is a plant-based fiber. So let me just read out to you what this is made of. Okay. 70% organically grown cotton, 20% rayon from bamboo, and 10% hemp. It's very soft. It's very soft. So this is it's really nice. And what I have planned with this one is the Hatsuki by Dieviv. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but another Japanese designer that I started following with that kind of cool, I'll put up pictures, but that cool sort of botanical pattern at the bottom. So this is a fingering weight. I have never knit with this before, so, you know, let's see. No idea how this is going to turn out, but it's a really beautiful kind of neutral tone blue, not too dark. So I think this should be another nice addition to the work wardrobe, hopefully. So that's it for this podcast, guys. Yeah, it's been a productive month. I feel like I have a lot of stuff that's in like early stages or it's the wrong season now. So I'm hopeful that some of these summer knits will go quickly. I think the Taipei vest is going to be the quickest growing because it's a DK. These other ones are fingering, so these are going to take a minute, but at least they don't have sleeves, so, you know, pick your battles, I guess. Let's see which ones go the quickest, but yeah, we're going to see how I do with these yarns. I'm excited to try some new stuff. Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. As always, if you have suggestions, comments, questions, please put them down below. Would love it if you guys would subscribe, and that way you'll kind of see all the content that I put up here. So thank you again for tuning in, and hopefully you guys are enjoying some springtime, or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, some autumn time weather as well. And I hope to see you next time. So bye for now. Take care.